The fight between Yuta and Sukuna has officially begun, and I'm not gonna lie, Yuta's been doing a lot better than people were expecting, including myself. In this video, I'm gonna be going over the events that happened last chapter and how I think this fight's gonna go. So let's just get straight into it. So a few weeks back, I actually made a video talking about how Yuta could become stronger over the time skip and reach the level of Gojo and Sukuna. And now that we're actually seeing him in action, it does seem like he's become way stronger than he previously was. When Yuta first joined the battlefield in chapter 248, he was able to somewhat clash with Sukuna, and the Queen of Curses Rika managed to just casually pin Sukuna down. As the fight progressed, we got to see Yuta and Rika continuously be able to keep up and react to Sukuna. They are tag teaming and Sukuna obviously scales above the two, but nonetheless it is still super impressive. Up until recently, the only scaling between these characters was via Ryu, who, while yes, Yuta was holding back during their fight, Ryu did scale to Yuta in terms of strength and speed, and just the overall base stats. So when Ryu got blitzed and one-shot by 15 Finger Sukuna, it wasn't looking too good for Yuta. But now, him and Rika have obviously gotten way stronger given their current feats. We also finally got to see Yuta's domain expansion, which unsurprisingly seems pretty busted. It kinda looks like Byakuya's Bankai from Bleach, and also Limited Blade Works from Fate Stay Night. The way it works is that each sword within the domain has one of Yuta's copied curse techniques imbued into it. On top of that, it also seems that Yuta can choose which curse technique he uses for the short hit, and in this case, Sukuna assumes that the current short hit of Yuta's domain is Angel CT, which also confirms the theory a lot of people had that Yuta had copied Angel's curse technique. Because of this, not only is Yuta also amped by his domain, but Sukuna is also extremely nerfed. To defend against the short hit, Sukuna is forced into activating Hollow Wicker Basket, which takes up 2 of his arms and 1 of his mouths. I'm not really sure as to why Sukuna chose to use Hollow Wicker Basket over a Symbol Domain, but there might be a few reasons. Hollow Wicker Basket is the predecessor to Symbol Domains, which might make you think it's worse, but that isn't necessarily the case. When it comes to Jujutsu skill, how good a sorcerer is usually based on their ability to emit chants and hand signs, as was stated by the narrator when Gojo used a 200% Hollow Purple. In other words, even if a technique becomes slightly weaker, if that technique requires less chants and signs, it would probably be considered a net positive by Jujutsu standards. So how this relates to Hollow Wicker Basket is that while Symbol Domain may be considered the better and more modern technique, it doesn't necessarily mean it's stronger than Hollow Wicker Basket when fighting short hits. We very clearly see Hollow Wicker Basket take up more hand signs, meaning it could very much be the case that it is a stronger but less efficient technique when compared to Symbol Domain. Or it could just be that Sukuna doesn't know how to use Symbol Domain, since it wasn't yet a thing during the Heian Era, but I honestly doubt that. Anyway, going back to the main topic at hand of Sukuna being nerfed, the entire reason as to why Sukuna's true form is so broken is because of his extra body parts giving him such a big advantage in terms of Jujutsu. So Yuta removing that advantage is extremely important. The chapter ends with Yuta managing to catch Sukuna with an icebreaker, resulting in Sukuna taking the most damage we've seen ever since the Gojo fight over 10 chapters ago. So with that small summary out of the way, what are Yuta's actual chances here? We finally got in confirmation that Sukuna's RCT is significantly worse because of his fight with Gojo, but it is slowly returning as Yuta himself said. Not only that, but for now, Sukuna can't use his domain either, which leads on to my next point, and that is the main strategy Yuta and Yuji are using to defeat Sukuna. Their only shot at winning is by taking out Sukuna before he regains his domain and RCT, so they are essentially fighting on a time limit, and this is the main problem. While Yuji's new ability to affect Sukuna and Megumi's soul could present them with a pretty decent win con, the fact that they have a countdown running in the background makes me think their plan is about to fail. If you guys remember, we had a similar setup in the Gojo Sukuna fight, where Gojo had to defeat Sukuna before the wheel spanned enough time for Haraga to adapt, and we all remember how that turned out. I think pretty much the same thing is about to happen here. Yuji and Yuta will probably come close to defeating Sukuna, but I am very confident that in classic Gege fashion, Sukuna will regain his domain and open Malevolent Shrine. As soon as he does that, I honestly have no idea what Yuta can do. Even with how much stronger he's gotten, first off, his RCT is nowhere near on the level of Gojo, and Gojo had to have his RCT on full output just to survive Malevolent Shrine. We saw Yuta hasn't even fully healed from one of Sukuna's slashes, as he does still have the damage from it, so something like surviving Malevolent Shrine purely through RCT is out of the picture right now. His best chances are probably to activate Symbol Domain and just try to get the hell out of Sukuna's range, which honestly isn't that bad of an idea. Another thing I want to mention is that we don't really know how much Sukuna is trying right now. Like, he's clearly clearly holding back, but the extent he's been doing so has been unclear. If you compare current Sukuna to how he was during the Gojo and Kashimo fight, you can definitely tell a difference. Against Kashimo, we not only saw him use a space cutting slashes, but also an extremely amped version of the base cleave and dismantle that we haven't seen him use since. The only reason our cast have lasted as long as they have is because Sukuna wants to enjoy the fight. Pretty much every time we've seen Sukuna fight someone strong, he plays around before killing them. We saw this with Jogo, where Sukuna gave him a chance by not using Domain and choosing to fight a battle of firepower. Or recently, the fight with Higuruma is another example of this, where he didn't even try to defend himself against Higuruma's Domain, just so he could see the executioner's blade. When Sukuna realized Higuruma's potential, he also gave him multiple chances to grow and fight back, rather than just taking him out. So it's very much in Sukuna's character to purposely hold back and slowly push his opponents to their limits. We are even seeing this with Yuta right now. As soon as Yuta pulled up, the first thing Sukuna did was try to motivate him by threatening his friends. So yeah, Sukuna is most definitely holding back right now. And since he's finally started taking damage and is being pushed more, we're about to see him start revealing more and more of his strength. Me personally, I don't really see how Yuta can put Sukuna down even in his nerf state, and that is probably why their plan relies on Yuji targeting Sukuna's soul. Yuta and Rika will probably act more as decoys to give Yuji an opening to strike, rather than Yuta himself being the one to take out Sukuna. But as I previously said, I don't think the plan's gonna work out. Maybe if Sukuna had permanently lost his Domain, then Yuta and Rika could stall him out and give Yuji the required openings, but since they're on the time limit, I don't know if they can actually get the job done. However, this is where the heavy hitters come into the equation. This would be the perfect time for Maki to jump into the fight, since she'd be practically invisible inside Yuta's Domain as she wouldn't actually get registered by it, and it would also explain the reason as to why she's been hiding this entire time. As for Hakari, I know he's currently fighting with Ryomen, but honestly speaking, I don't see that fight going on for very long, so expect the Gambler to join everyone in jumping Sukuna pretty soon. In conclusion, even though Yuji and Yuta do seem to have Sukuna in the back foot for now, the odds are still very clearly in Sukuna's favor. While yes, half of his body parts are essentially useless right now, meaning he can't do extra chants or use attacks with a space slash, all he has to do is survive long enough so that he can use Domain expansion again. If he does manage to use Domain expansion, I don't see any way Yuta or Yuji can survive Malevolent Shrine, so they pretty much have to defeat Sukuna before he regains his Domain. And me personally, I don't think Yuji and Yuta alone are strong enough to do that, but if people like Hakari and Maki join the fight, then that does stack the odds in their favor. Maki would be able to get constant sneak attacks on Sukuna, and like Yuji, would also be able to damage Sukuna's soul. And at the same time, Hakari and Jackpot could just take the brunt of Sukuna's attacks and create openings for everyone else. But again, that's only if the rest of the heavy hitters join the fight. If we're talking just Yuta and Yuji, I'm afraid to say that chances are looking pretty grim. Anyways, if you've enjoyed watching, please make sure to like and subscribe. I want to try and hit 1k before summer, so I would really appreciate if you guys could help me achieve that goal. I think next chapter, we're about to see a very impressive showing from Yuta and Yuji, possibly even having Sukuna at a corner at the end of the chapter. But you guys know Gege, he likes giving his characters big moments right before killing them off. So just make sure you guys enjoy what Yuta has to offer in these coming weeks, because after that, even the second MC himself isn't going to be safe. Anyways, again, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Before we kick off the video, if you're looking for some high quality anime merch and just overall accessories that are also very affordable, then please make sure to check out Anime Express. The link will be in the description, and if you want to support me as well, please don't forget to use my code HEAVYOTHER10 for a 10% discount, as that would really help a ton. Other than that though, I'm out.